Imagine walking into a bakery, and instead of buying bread with money, you hand over the bread itself as money. Sounds insane, right? But once upon a time, in a struggling corner of the world, that's exactly what happened. And no, this isn't some fairy tale or movie plot. It's a real piece of history that most people have never heard about. Our story begins in the mid-1990s. A small country, deep in Eastern Europe, was facing an economic nightmare. Prices were skyrocketing. People's life savings were losing value every single day. The official currency was worth less than the paper it was printed on. Every time people got paid, they'd run to the market as fast as they could because tomorrow, that money would buy less. Sometimes, a lot less. And here's the thing about money. It's only valuable because people believe it's valuable. The second that trust breaks, money is just paper. In this country, trust had completely collapsed. And so the government came up with what I can only call one of the strangest solutions in economic history. Bread. Yes, bread. But not just any bread. They started producing small, hard, long-lasting loaves, stamped, labeled, and distributed as official currency. Why bread? Because at least bread had real value. You could eat it. You could trade it. And in a country where normal money was basically worthless, bread was as good as gold. People started paying for bus rides with bread. They bought clothes with bread. They even paid rent with bread. Imagine your landlord knocking on your door and instead of counting out bills, you hand over a neat stack of loaves. But here's where it gets even stranger. Because something happened that nobody expected. At first, people loved it. It made sense. The bread held value, and you couldn't just print more bread overnight. But soon, human nature kicked in. Some people started hoarding the bread currency. Why spend it today, when maybe you could get more for it tomorrow? And others, they started eating it, which was a problem. Because once bread was eaten, it was gone. The country's money supply was literally being digested. Within months, chaos set in again. Some loaves were going stale and moldy before they could even be used. Others were being secretly baked at home to fake more currency. Yes, bread counterfeiting became a real crime. Think about that. Police raiding someone's kitchen, not because they're cooking drugs, but because they're baking illegal money loaves in the oven. Eventually, the edible currency experiment collapsed. The government abandoned the idea and went back to a more traditional form of money. But by then, the damage was done. People's trust in any currency had been shattered. Today, the whole episode has faded into a strange historical footnote. Most people outside that country have no idea it ever happened. But for those who lived through it, the smell of freshly baked bread might still bring back memories, not of breakfast, but of payday. And maybe there's a lesson here. Money, no matter what form it takes, gold coins, paper notes, plastic bills, or even loaves of bread, isn't really about what it's made of. It's about trust. The belief that tomorrow, someone else will accept it in exchange for something you need. Once that belief is gone, it doesn't matter if your money is edible, indestructible, or beautiful enough to hang in a museum. It's just bread. Imagine